Well, the Huskies carved a 48.6 on beam. Last week at Oregon State, they had a 48.675, so 3/4 of a tenth off of that. Again, the Golden Bears 49.125. That was a tenth off of their season opening score last week, which happened to be their best season opening score ever, despite counting a fall on beam.
An uncharacteristic fall from Milan Klasi, the first fall in her Cal career. And then the freshman Jordan Kane at the end of the lineup. They talked about putting new routines at the end just to see how they respond to that position. Unfortunately, they had to count the fall. Don't expect that today from the Bears. So solid on the event typically.
And tomorrow, Elisa and I will be down in Corvallis. More Pac-12 gymnastics coming up 2 o'clock tomorrow. UCLA against Oregon State, and a pair of Olympians will take center stage. Jordan Childs, who won a silver medal in the team competition in Tokyo. She'll be for UCLA, and meanwhile, Jade Carey of Oregon State. There's Childs, silver medalist, stepping in. Couple of routines in the team competition in the final for her friend Simone Biles, and Jade Carey of Oregon State, the gold medalist in floor exercise in Tokyo.
Just one of the most exceptional tumblers that we have seen, and so excited to see those two Olympians, not to mention the other Olympians that we have out at University of Utah.
Yep, 4 Olympians post their Olympic career here in college. Jade Carey actually deferred her enrollment to Oregon State for 3 years.
Right.
Originally signed back in November of 2017 for the 2018 class. Hey, Dubs is here. Mascot for the Huskies. Love it.
What a good dog. What a good dog.
Chris Crandall Howard talking with the Bears as they head to Beam, where last week they had that 48.625. Having to count the fall. Nevaeh D'Souza will start matters off. 9.875 last week against Stanford. Bears with back-to-back freshman of the year. Nevaeh D'Souza in 2020. The year before, Milan Klasi. Andy Lee, who was a Pac-12 Freshman of the Week award a couple of times last year. Could have won it, but for the great season by UCLA's Shea Campbell. More evidence of the great program that the Crandalls are building in Berkeley.
Talked about Nevaeh's consistency all day long. This event is where she truly shines. Is so steady throughout.
Fantastic artistry.
Exactly. And that steadiness, that consistency is why she's in this leadoff spot. Slight wobble there. Didn't really trust herself on that landing. That's called a sheep jump. Difficult to take your eyes off the beam. Goes the length of the beam for this dismount to a round off 1.5. And finds the stick. A nice job to come back from that slight wobble after her flight series.
94 of 95 in her career. Her only fall came last year on beam, and she came close that time. Won't see her come that close very often. Skylar Killer-Wilhelm will start matters off. Wilhelm, only person doing the all-around for Washington today, had a 9.9 on beam.
Skylar has a new routine this year. The choreographer Jeffrey Langenstein, one of the new coaches, followed Jen Llewellyn, had spent time with her at Lindenwood and then was at San Jose State recently. Talked about just finding joy in the dance and putting routines together that the gymnasts were really excited about.
7 last week at Oregon State, matching her second lowest floor exercise score in her 7 collegiate routine. Looking for a bounce back.
She struggled on that pass last week. Not today. Really nicely done on that E front tumbling pass.
Saw Brenna Brooks there in the background helping her out.
Jeffrey talked about floor being a team sport for them. They all get into the dance and they're really competing for each other. Turgite ring there, same move that Maya Bordas did. You gotta make sure you get that foot back up to your head. Half front layout, well controlled. Much better routine than last week. Beautiful, beautiful job.
Skylar Killow-Wilhelm, sophomore from Des Moines, Iowa. During her JO career, had at least one top 5 finish on every apparatus. 9.675 for D'Souza. It had a 9.85 last week. Montlake led off last week's beam lineup against Stanford. Suffered a fall in her first tumbling series, which it this time.
Here's her flight series. Just a tiny foot fault there. She moves quickly on beam, works up high on toe. That's a very difficult connection, those 2 switch leaps.
The fall last week was just the second in 106 routines in her career entering this week.
I love that headstand that she does there, also on her floor routine as well, and a great dismount, super clean, what we're used to seeing from Milan Klasi.
Great bounce back. How tough is that to bounce back from a rare fall?
You know, when you haven't fallen like that, it just sort of plants that seed in your mind sometimes. But I think her mental toughness and the mental training that the Cal team does was really on display there. She bounced back so well.
.985 for Skylar Killow-Wilhelm. And now Lana Navarro. At a 9.8 on vault. The second time we'll see her today. Last week, her first collegiate floor routine, the freshman from Laverne, California. Struggled with it at Oregon State. Posted a 9.3. Now Lana Navarro bounces back.
She's a really fun dancer. Enjoys emoting. Very well landed on that double tuck.
Got really high.
Pac-12 fans may recognize the last name. Her sister Lauren Navarro competes for Stanford.
5th-year senior this year. And for the 2015 U.S. Senior National Team, Lauren Navarro. This is her sister Lana. Love Cunningham in the background.
Well landed. That 1.5 front layout. The sort of extra juice and expression and emoting these girls do during the routine is something that takes a little bit out of you. And so in the first couple meets of the season, you can see gymnasts struggle with their endurance on the last pass. Also, both of these programs have not had as much training due to some of the COVID protocols. So we'll see if she can put this last pass to her feet. Nicely landed double pike, chest down just a little bit, but so solid. She knew in the middle of that double pike that she was going to make it to her feet.
What a great routine for Lauren Navarro.
Really just brought you in. You could tell she was enjoying herself so much.
Pardon me, Lana Navarro. And again, a 9.3 last week. And Lana, much better this week in her second ever collegiate floor routine. A creative, unique mount of hers.
Is showing off flexibility. Ooh, just a slight wobble there as she gets up off the beam. Nice extension. There's her triple series, perfectly landed. Bent a bit as she came up at the top. So impressive though for Maya as a freshman to break into all four lineups in this deep Cal team. And it's for things like that stuck aerial to fall. What a night, what an all-around performance for the freshman.
Yeah, in front of friends and family. The Kent, Washington native, from town about 20 miles south of here. The club team is here.
She was a fantastic junior national competitor, multiple-time Olympic team member, junior national team member.
Obviously, they want to put a red line through Geneva Thompson's score. Here is Amara Cunningham. 6 gymnasts in each rotation, and you count the best 5 scores. Cunningham, second time. You see it today on a 9.85 on the wall. Career high on floor, 9.95. And a 9.85 last week. Powerful tumbler, early in her career, she worked a lot on the floor.
Exactly, she has so much power. She really has to rein it in. You'll see she takes 2 steps into that tumbling pass. The front 2 double tap, lands it perfectly.
Big smile.
This is a new routine for her as well. Choreographed by herself, by Brenna Brooks, and by Geneva Thompson. Good completion, but a little bit of a step back on those leaps. Angela Higginson said she has had Justin Timberlake in all 4 years of her Husky routines, and so she had to add it into the end there just to cap off her career. Wow, exceptional double pike to finish. Go. Little Justin, everyone can dance with her. And seals it. Pointing to her teammates at the end. Really fun routine for Mark Cunningham.
Cunningham competed as an individual at the NCAAs last year on vaulted floor. The C1.
Yeah, and you know, we talked about her consistency coming after that fall. It was really important to right the ship for the Huskies at the end of this meet.
9.825 for Maya Lazan doing the all-around. And now here is Madeline Williams. All-around champ in 2019, won by more than half a point. Had a 9.875 on bars. This is her first ever collegiate beam routine.
She started off with a difficult double wolf turn. Yes, her flight series, super easy. She's from the same club as Nevaeh D'Souza. You can tell their basics are so strong. She'll leap into the side aerial and just a slide back on her dismount. Very nice job.
First college beam routine under the belt of Maddie Williams. 9.925 for Amara Cunningham. Just a quarter of a tenth off her career high, and now the final gymnast of the afternoon, Ashley Blum, the Gig Harbor, Washington native. And this is her first ever collegiate floor routine.
She did not compete at Oregon State, so truly her first meet as a Husky. She's coached in club by Frank Lee, who was a former assistant coach for the Huskies. Wow, just walked into that front tuck through to a double tuck. Similar to Amara, so much power.
Junior Olympic national champion on beam. She hasn't done beam in college. She's done vault and floor now, debuting today.
A good leap combination there. From my view, she looked a hair shy on that last leap. But a difficult combination doing 3 in a row. See her last pass. Should be a double pike. Nicely landed.
Great moment for Ashley Blum, the freshman from nearby Gig Harbor, celebrating with her teammates. Her first ever collegiate floor routine. What a bright future.
She sort of walks into those tumbling passes, has really deceptive power. You know, exact same tumbling as Amara Cunningham, and really well done by the freshman.
We'll have the final numbers from here in Seattle. Golden Bears and the Huskies, second meet of the season for each. Back after this. Pac-12 Women's Gymnastics is brought to you by Clean Simple Eats. Eat clean, keep it simple, get results. Early in the college gymnastics season, with fans in the stands for the first time in 2 years here at Alaska Airlines Arena, and their Huskies improved their score from last week by 1.45 points. Meanwhile, the Golden Bears last week had their best season opening score in history. This one was even better by 3.5 tenths.
Yeah, these Bears, the ceiling is so high for them. They're just going to keep improving on the little details and adding new routines to their lineup. They have so much depth to play with, and it'll be fun to watch them throughout the season as they
And when you
continue.
consider where they were at the beginning of the tenure of the Howells, back in 2012, they were ranked 49th in the nation. They're on the cusp of the final day of the NCAA championship.
Absolutely. And, you know, training in Berkeley, COVID protocols, etc. This team has not had the repetitions that many other teams have, and so as the season progresses, they will just continue to get better and better.
And there's Justin Howell. And meanwhile, Washington, under first-year head coach Jen Llewellyn, built a great program in her decade at Lindenwood University, and looking to do likewise here at Washington, like what I see early on in her tenure.
Yeah, absolutely. The market improvement you saw from this team in just 1 week. Like Cal, they had some COVID protocols. Still don't have their full roster out there from injuries and from COVID protocols. So great to see the improvement that they had, especially ending on floor and breaking that 49 mark.
So a great second week for both the Golden Bears and the Huskies.